think we all know his track record of working against many of those on Commissioner's Court for campaign against elected judges in this community, rather than trying to do the best that she can with what she has. She's estimated experience within the office, in addition to firing about 35 of the most experienced prosecutors when she came in. The culture she has created of fear, of being scared to do the right thing or speak up, that has resulted in a unprecedented amount of people leaving the office. I think in less than the past 2 years, at least 6 of her top leadership has left. That's unprecedented. People who used to get to the level of division chief or higher, you stayed in that job until you retired. But we're talking at least 6 people within less than the past 2 years that have left. And those that do have experience in the office, it's not properly utilized to help train younger prosecutors so that they can do better. They have younger prosecutors there who are overwhelmed and are desperate to learn, but they're not learning. And they're leaving at high rates because they throw their hands up and feel they can't do the job and they're not being properly trained. The job is hard enough, making decisions every single day where your bar cards are being questioned. Even more importantly, somebody's liberty is at stake, or there's a victim who's looking to you for justice. You cannot work in an environment where you're scared to say what you think the right outcome is, where you're not able to quickly move along a case and focus on the ones that matter, or where differences in opinion are tolerated at the highest levels. Many people in this community who have been lucky enough to not have to be involved in the criminal justice system, whether that be a victim, a loved one of a victim, an accused, a family member of an accused, they don't realize just how awesome the power of the district attorney is. The district attorney is the gatekeeper in this community of who the police arrest and file charges on, of what kind of charge is filed. Is it a felony? Is it a misdemeanor? Of whether a case proceeds in court and somebody, or if they're diverted, that's the right thing, some sort of a diversion program, and ultimately what cases proceed to trial or are dismissed. Those are decisions of the district attorney. So when you decimate the experience in the office, and you put plenty of examples up here, one great example is the intake division. The intake division was completely reorganized when Kim Ogg came in, and she wiped out the majority of experienced lawyers that worked in that division and put in newer attorneys who want to do a good job, but they don't have the experience in a courtroom. So they are fielding phone calls from officers that last some just a matter of moments or minutes, and they are deciding who's arrested and charged for that crime. And that is why you see numbers of no probable cause being found by judges skyrocket. You have attorneys, no matter how good their intentions, making decisions and accepting charges where people are going to be arrested and put in jail, and they don't have the experience or the judgment to know, is this a good case? Is this a case I really need to accept? Do we need some more investigation? Is this something that really doesn't need to be criminalized in this situation? You end up with more cases being filed, and you end up, for some people, a single arrest, even if it doesn't result in conviction, a single night in jail can be devastating. It can be devastating. And if you're not making good, sound decisions down there, it affects the whole system, and more importantly, it affects people's lives. It affects victims' lives. What if they don't take a good charge at somebody's safety? Or what if they take a bad charge and somebody loses their job? Can't provide for their family, and they never should have been arrested in the first place. It also creates some more work for her prosecutors who are already stretched thin. And you have to spend all of your time working on these cases that you know should be dismissed, but you have to justify it because it's going to look bad if you're dismissing two of the cases. You're spending all of your time trying to do that and focusing on the cases that matter. The bottom line is this. If you have an elected official who puts politics over justice, who puts personal vendettas and her own political perception over fairness and doing the right thing, everyone suffers. Everyone suffers. Community safety suffers, and the rights of our community, the people within our community suffers. You cannot have an office holder who literally can impact somebody's liberty or somebody's safety be focused on anything other than doing the right thing. And unfortunately, she is more focused on politics and her own public perception and those who disagree with her than doing the right thing. She has had almost 8 years in this position. You look at the past 7 or so years. You think things have gotten better under Kim Ogg? No.
I'd just like to take a moment to just demonstrate something. Raise your hand if you're a precinct chair. How many precinct chairs do we have up here? This is just a small handful of the growing number of more than 100 precinct chairs who have been actively engaged in supporting the resolution of admonishment. I believe Tom Berger's here as well, who has worked with the prosecutor's office before as well. This is all to say that this didn't come out of the blue, that people have had a lot of these concerns for years, many years before this. And this is in a very short time period, the number of people who have decided to show up in support of one movement together, not just in support of the resolution we've discussed, but in support of the people who have actually been directly harmed by the DA. So I'm here to just say that the precinct chairs have stood up. We've seen the culture that's been run, we've seen the mismanagement, and we've seen the harm of it, and enough is enough. And that's what everyone is talking about a little bit today. I want to definitely encourage the press to connect with those who have been affected by the district attorney first and foremost. And I'd like to open up the floor to questions. We'll also have breakaway interviews. If anybody has questions, now is the time to ask, and just let us know who you'd like to address. Thank you for here.
Who is the resolution to monitor?
Well, it's mainly just a statement from the body, and it's not unprecedented to have statements from the body. They are rare because we're members of the same party. So we don't have resolutions of admonishment falling out of the sky. It only comes in a really specific circumstance. But it's essentially a declaration from the body saying that you're not aligned with what she believes in. There's not recalls in this area of the country or anything like that. But we're surely going to speak out. We're surely going to speak up and inform the public of what we've seen. So that's the significance of the resolution. It's a rare statement. It doesn't happen very often.
What did you say about that the party needs
So there's 2 aspects of this that are of our resolution. The first one is essentially that she's been out of line with party values, and she has been on a wide variety of issues. And whenever given the opportunity, if there's something that benefits her politically that the law requires, she'll not just do the thing that is required, but she'll go further and then say, well, I had to do it. And if there are times when she can do less than the law requires, then she'll do that instead. She'll just go for something that politically benefits her. One key thing to look at is a lot of the fabrications surrounding misdemeanor cash bail reform specifically, which is championed by lots of people in our party in this county. The Quattrone report from the University of Pennsylvania specifically said that recidivism is down, more cost effective, no impact on public safety, or if there is any impact, we are slightly safer after the O'Donnell settlement. The district attorney said that she would support that reform. When she got in office, she brought 100 police chiefs to oppose it. She weighed in on the case even though she wasn't party to the case, and continuously she will make sure that details come out that do not get into the finer points of what actually happened in bail situations. The flat fact is that any reasonable assessment of our our misdemeanor cash bail reform system will show that there's been progress in the county, and the only people that disagree with that are Kim Ogg and her political allies. It's only people on her side of it that think that. Anybody who's done a reasonable look at it knows that we are safer after it, and we are tired of the propaganda. So that's just one of the many things that are in the resolution to admonish.
Can you just speak to the diversity of people here, like what groups people represent?
Sure. It's broad. I mean, look, we have the Democratic Precinct Chairs. We have folks who are directly harmed by police brutality, by the overcrowding of the system, by just trying to do their jobs and try to help be healers to the community. And like I said before, I mean, just to reinforce this is a grassroots movement. We didn't just bring all these people together in the last couple of months. Everybody's heard about all this stuff for years. It's 7 years worth of people observing the district attorney that's led to the moment that you see today and the moments that have taken place over the last 5 or 6 weeks. So it didn't just materialize out of the air. We know it. It's an open secret. Everybody knows it. The last county chair of the Harris County Democratic Party criticized her when he was the chair. The chair of the state party criticized her last year because she went further in investigating elections than necessary and then said she had been required by the law. But if you ask attorneys about that, they don't agree with her. Only the district attorney believes that. She always takes the stronger side of the law or the bare minimum, depending on what benefits her politically.
The question for precinct chairs or any of the speakers, do you feel like you're taking a risk by being here today? Was that something that you thought about before participating in the news conference?
I'd like to give the
I don't feel like I'm taking a risk. What I feel like that I am accomplishing a lot by coming out here with bravery. I'm not gonna just stand back and allow this to just be okay with me. I'm not okay with none of this. And in my heart, it won't settle until I get justice for my son. So either somebody has to step up or we're going to go through other avenues to make this work. So I'm not afraid. I have God on my side. I'm covered and I'm not afraid of anyone. So.
To answer your question, I feel like there is a level of risk, but at this point, it's my son's life that's involved, and so for me, I'm going to do everything that I can to make sure that someone knows who he is, that people understand how mental health patients are being processed in Harris County. By no means to a person who is already disturbed mentally and in a crisis, being held accountable for what they say to an officer. Her badge should not make her better than anyone standing up here. And if I was the one that was attacked, I said, I don't want to prosecute. What makes her better and what makes her a felony? Because if they are successful making this felony stick with him, I'm not going to be able to take care of him when he does get out of jail because he's going to have a felony, which means that more of the resources that would have normally been available for him as a mental health patient will not be available to him because of the felony. He won't have to be able to attend or stay at a home because they don't want people with quote-unquote violent histories. But that wasn't even violent. He didn't touch her. According to her, he said something to her that was a threat. And so that's why I'm standing here today, regardless of what that looks like on the opposite side.
the son was killed in an accident, we like to say Jewish or intelligent. So the son was killed in this accident. He asked me if he could talk to him. I'm gonna.
So my brother was holding my dad out at a family business.
No,
My name is Stephanie. My brother Daniel, after the life was killed and murdered by gunshot. My husband's father at a family business. The person that killed him was someone who had a track record. They had to go for probation. They didn't stick. They got another bond. They didn't stick. There's a whole lot of rules in the justice system that are working, and if it was working correctly the way it was, we can't even say our brother would still be here today. And then there's this whole
there's a whole lot of comments about business, not even trying to even working. There's some that died on my hand right here, you know? No one's going to do anything about it. The only thing is that there comes a point in time in your life when you have to step up to whatever is right. This is the right.
I'll say this just briefly when it comes to the precinct chairs. We have not been through the things that a lot of people in this county have been through. And it's really, in that respect, it is our duty, in my opinion. I speak for myself, but I think other chairs might be in the same page. That it's our duty to make sure that we're speaking out. It's our duty to do the organizing that we do. And if we're going to say that we stand for justice, and if we're going to say that we stand up for civil rights, and for being able to live in a free democracy, that this was a really important thing for us to do. Another thing that I'll say is this, and you've heard it before, it's cliche, but it's still true. There's only one way to handle a bully, and that's to stand up to them. There's only one best way to stand up to a bully, and that's to do it together. And that's what we're doing.
Question for the
This question will actually be precinct chairs. Okay. I'm precinct chair, but I was also the target of one of the prosecutions a few years ago, which was thankfully dismissed by Congress. And I'm teaching. I don't necessarily want my name out there. That's the story of that revolt.
She wiped out a lot of experience when she first came here. But then the culture that has been developed over almost 7 years is low morale, fear of exercising discretion or making decisions, and people aren't sticking around. If you were to look at rates of how many people are leaving at misdemeanor levels, all the way up to some of the highest levels in the office, she cannot keep a turning point. She has many funded yet unstaffed positions she cannot fill them. If you live in Houston, you live in Harris County with the population ourselves, and the crime rates that we have as a large metropolitan area, you have to have experienced prosecutors to handle and prosecute those cases. And for all of the tweets or statements that you see about cases where somebody pled prison time or there was a guilty verdict in trial, there is an unprecedented amount of not guilty, particularly on murders and child sexual abuse cases in our county. And you don't do it. And that is an impact on public safety. You have prosecutors who are just trying to do their jobs, but they're not properly trained, they don't have the experience, and they're stretched thin. They can't properly try and prepare for the case, and bad outcomes are happening. That impacts public safety. To the same extent, when you file, for example, one that I saw in the past year, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon on a brother who threw a pineapple at his brother, and you charge somebody with a felony for that, that can impact public safety. When somebody loses their job, or somebody, all of those kind of things that might lead to criminalization when they can't take care of them. There's too many. I'd love to talk to you privately, and I can give you a number of examples, but it absolutely impacts public safety. And it's not that these prosecutors don't want to get trained. They do. They talk about it all the time in court. They come to trusted other attorneys outside of the office trying to get it. Some of her top prosecutors in there who have a background experience who have offered to go help them take or take or hold them.
Sure. In your experience there, there's a lot that is the last 2 days about how people target political opponents and how you guys do about that. From what you've seen, that's really happening in the office. Benefits for those who are out there, those who oppose the police to stand for the power of the office.
I would say yes. I've heard the example of Tom Bird. She brought in who had a vast amount of experience. He stood up to her and said, no, I don't think that's the right thing. He was fired. Voice of opposition. We're not going to be in her circle. A lot of things that people see on a daily basis in that office related to some of the investigations and things. A lot of good hard-working prosecutors keep their head down and say, as long as I don't have to directly work on it, I can just work on my cases and focus on doing the right thing in my cases. But everybody sees it. You know what's going on. And it just keeps giving us example after example.
Lauren, question for you. You said earlier about the intake line and that her office is the gatekeeper. Did you see the emergency item on the commissioner's court today for $11 million to ship pre-trial people, 350 pre-trial people to Mississippi? Can you speak to that? This is on top of the $39 million that the county is already spending, paying private prison companies to ship pre-trial people, Harris County residents, to Louisiana and West Texas, 7-8 hours away from their families. And this is a new contract, $11+ million to ship 350 people out to Mississippi. with Orcidic, which is the worst private prison company in the country, so bad that the Federal Bureau of Prison does not work with them anymore. So please connect to what you're saying about the intake line and the overcharging.
Sure. When you have somebody who doesn't have the experience, even just the corporate experience, to see how a case is going to play out if you actually go to trial on it. Something may sound good on you when you're talking to an officer for a few minutes. Or when the system is set up in a way where officers are calling from the field and you're literally talking to somebody for a few minutes and you're accepting a charge, before you have the body worn camera, before you have the police report, there was a reason that system was put in place. It was to expedite people being brought in front of judges so they can have their proper warnings. And so they can more quickly be assigned to court, things like that. There was a reason that a county of our size did it. But when you are accepting charges, the vast majority of the charges, based on a few minutes at best conversation with a police officer, we're not talking about some of the lengthy murder investigations and things like that. I'm talking about the day-to-day phone calls. You have to expect that once you actually get in court, and you get that police report, you get all the body worn cameras, you listen to the 911 call, you talk to witnesses that aren't mentioned anywhere else, you might learn more that informs your decision that maybe this is the case we should pursue. But when prosecutors aren't allowed to exercise their discretion to do that, when they're having to perform, there's a running joke among prosecutors in the office that it's easier to set a case for trial than to dismiss. Because you are required to do so much to try and just justify your dismissal that you're spending time on that. Really, you want to be spending your time on that capital murder that you want to go to trial on, or that violent offender that, it is a case that needs to be prosecuted. So it doesn't surprise me when you have people without the experience. I'm not saying every single charge is bad, but certainly there's a significant number of overcharges where people are potentially being charged with felonies which could be a misdemeanor and so on. That you are going to have more people in the jail if they can't make bond, or if a judge lets the case proceed. And it makes it difficult for families to visit their loved ones. Some of them are 9 hours away in Coast, Texas. It makes it difficult for their attorneys to meet with them and try to properly represent them or show them evidence in their case. I mean, it just makes it worse.
Are there any other questions from the press? Okay, I do encourage you to have a discussion with the speakers today as well. If you want to have breakaway interviews, speakers, if you wouldn't mind, you can stay near the podium. Folks can come over here and kind of have a conversation. If you're a precinct chair or an activist, maybe we'll meet right over here. We're going to have a little bit of a discussion before the meeting. And Lauren and I are around as well. Thank you for being members of the Precinct.
We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead, number 1, subscribe to our channel, and number 2, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.